This car has been around longer than I can remember, and I think it's fair to say that absolutely every 3 Series has been a diamond of a car. Anyway, let's start with the 0 to 60 test. 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, in BMW terms, it's by no means a road rocket as such, but it's fair to say that this is not a slow car. And if there's anything I will say about this car to start off with, it's got the most fantastic transition through the gears. It's silky smooth, and usually I find with a car that hasn't got a large engine, 2 litres isn't large, let's be honest, the gear change in an automatic can be very, very ropey indeed, and it's certainly not the case with this car. The transition is fantastic. Now, just the basics. The rear view vision's perfect, there's no obstruction there at all. The side mirrors, good height and very large, you can definitely see where you've been, no problems there. Instrument cluster, it's actually not obstructed by the steering wheel, which is unusual. Center console, it is basic, and I think you could operate that without taking your eyes off the road once you were familiar with it. However, I personally would prefer dial controls rather than buttons. Now, the steering on this car is wonderful. It's so responsive and it's tight. If I turn the steering wheel, I can feel the wheels moving immediately. I don't get that with a lot of cars, especially brand new cars, which is very strange. Now, with BMWs, especially the smaller ones, it has these wonderful steering, very responsive, really do feel like you're connecting with the road. There's none of that anaesthetized feeling you get with power steering. BMWs really are driver's cars, anybody who's driven one will know that. Now, the interior of this car is lovely, very nicely done, very tastefully done. Sometimes BMWs can go a bit funny with the interiors, like the red and blue ones of the 80s, which are a bit odd. The styling of this car is wonderful, very neat, very compact, and this particular series doesn't have the double hump here on the dashboard, which I think looks a bit gnarly. There does seem to be quite a bit of noise coming from the side of the car, but this is just wind noise, and I am particularly aware underneath the floor pan, which for a BMW I'm surprised at, and I'm only aware of it in the 3 Series, so I think maybe it might be to do with the size of the wheelbase. But what a lovely car to drive. I mean, it's effortless. It just goes along, and it's just no jerkiness, no dramatic gear change. It's just smooth. It's almost like an electric motor winding up. Now, as I go around the corners, this car just sticks to the road. It doesn't even know it's going around a corner. It's like it goes around the corners like it's squatting. It could almost be on rails. The car flies around the corner without any hesitation at all. These cars stick to the road, they go around as if they're on railway tracks. Now, one thing that seems to be a common feature with BMWs, in fact BMW since the 80s, is the brakes. The braking system on a BMW seems to be world class. Now, I'm going to do a stop now. It's not going to be an emergency stop, it's just going to be a firm brake. 3, 2, 1, and what a delivery of braking. Every caliper is working in perfect synchronization. There is no grabbiness. You have the ability to apply the brakes at a gradual pressure. I think BMWs probably have one of the best braking systems out of all cars on the road, and to be fair, that even tops Mercedes. These BMW 3 Series are fantastic cars. If you're thinking about buying one, you can't go wrong. If you're going to go for an automatic, I would say maybe 2.5 litre upwards if you're with the petrol. It does work with this, but there's another spectrum to the driving experience which you're missing out on. The 330 diesel is such a powerful car, but you really just cannot go wrong with these cars. These are one of the best cars on the roads at this time in history.